Hello, Smash University. My name is Esam, the winner of Glitch 8.5 Konami Code, and we're going to be talking shop about Pikachu. I got, of course, Charles and Bam with me, so we're here to talk. And that was my YouTube intro. I don't know what theirs is.
Hey man, let's get into it, man. I'm super excited to talk to you. It's been a minute, Esam, since I've
Yeah, it's been
seen
a
you,
while.
period. So
Hmm.
it's good to see you, man. Good to see you in high spirits, jamming out there and Glitch, man, doing it big, man. You've always been, just right off the bat, right? Let's get into it. Like, you've always been one of the best people when it comes to labbing and breaking down characters, right? And
Yeah.
you're so knowledgeable at the game. And you've always been doing it with that god tier character that people just don't seem to want to play as much in any Smash game for some reason. you
Yeah.
know?
I'm
It's
not
hard.
like I know he's awkward, but like it's surprising how few people, especially because like in Smash 4, I was like, oh, he might be like top 6 or 7, but like people thought, some people thought he was like 12 or 13 or whatever. So like that made sense. And then in Brawl, Meta Knight and My Slammers existed. Why would you play Pikachu? But then in this game, it's just like a lot of people are like, yeah, Pikachu's broken. Pikachu's top 3. Pikachu's top 3. Pikachu's the best. Pikachu's top 2. And then I'm just like, okay, well, do you want to play him? They're like, no, I will play this mid tier. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
feel
very
like
happens so much.
it's like there's a skill barrier that comes in with Pikachu, right? Like even like let's just break down baseline, and this happened to you. In fact, like you're the best Pikachu, and like you'll still have games or sets where you do a quick attack SD, right? Like quick attack is
True.
is not like the hardest thing in the world, but especially hitting the second angle at the exact angle you want, you're essentially doing like very fast paced Fox angles, right? Where you're
Yeah.
hitting one and then you got to go directly into it. Sometimes you do it too early, sometimes you do it too late, and you don't get the second zip, right? So like
Yeah.
that move just standalone is a skill check in itself. I don't think it's like super duper craziness, but like it's like in Smash 4 when Bayos would just have their one SD per set kind of thing. It was like, oh, there's
Yeah.
the Bayo SD or whatever, right? Like
It's
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 just
yeah, it's for to steal Coney's language, instead of like, the next stock tax, it's definitely the peak attacks of like, oh, you might SD a couple times every tournament.
right,
Actually, it's funny because the Leo one was the only one I SD'd. Like that was my only SD throughout the entire singles
which is
bracket.
very impressive, honestly. And you won that
Yeah,
game anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I do,
yeah,
dude. Broken. But the reason I SD'd that time actually was I for some reason I thought my thunder my thunder was going to hit myself earlier, so I thought I had less lag. So basically, I just thought I already did my first angle, so I kind of got the in between angle of like up and up towards the stage, and I just went like zip. Oh shit.
okay,
But yeah, I mean Pikachu's definitely awkward. The When I tell people like if they're like, oh, I want to pick up Pikachu, what's the first thing I should do? I'm like quick attack.
Hmm.
Just straight up
Absolutely.
like go into training mode and be just like, you want to do left to upright, upright, down right, down left. Like it doesn't matter. Just like any, especially like the main 8, I would say are important for
mm,
at first, and then you can do like the slight angles like way later. But because Pikachu has 2 angles, you don't need the slight angles for the most part. Um, so but that is like that takes like hours, and of course it's just like I have a billion reps because I played Pikachu in melee as a second, like as a low tier secondary, and then I have otherwise 13 years of experience maining the character, so it's just kind
yeah,
of second
right.
nature to me.
Yeah, yeah, and I Pikachu is definitely a character that when you've played multiple Smash games at top level, so like you understand the fact of having value as a character like progresses throughout the meta, right? And I feel like
Mhm.
this is where a lot of players or people that just study the game might feel, oh, maybe Palu drops off a little bit, maybe Wolf drops off a little bit. Like baseline, they have like all these great things, but you know. Are their punish games going to get better? Or right, like are their strategies a little
Mhm.
too simple? Right, like Pikachu, you can start exploiting Pikachu when you know the where they like to quick attack at specific angles. But if you're really ambiguous, then that's when quick attack like it starts
Yeah.
scaling in power, right? Like I go for all these different kinds
Broken.
of angles going to the ledge and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I don't just like go downright up, or you know what I mean, or stuff
Yeah.
like
If
that.
you, if you mix up your timings, and like it helps you not get too framed, and I did those a couple times against, my various opponents. Just as a sidebar, I think Palu and Wolf are still broken.
Oh,
That's a me
absolutely.
thing. But
Yeah,
like I understand what you're saying of just like Pikachu's complexities don't get worse over time
Right.
right.
because they're complex, and there's complex, and there's a bunch of different layers, and there's like all this conditioning. But yeah, like I think quick attack is a really good move, and of course a really bad move in terms of falling into habits with. But I feel like overall I was mixing up my timings with it so well to the point where like I got punished a couple times, but I think in terms of like big punishes, I think the only one that I can think of, or there's two, which was the Cola reading me and forward smashing on the platform, which like ups to him, and
Right.
then the end of the game three against Light where he up smashed me.
Yeah.
But like I did it well over 100, 200 times throughout the tournament. I got punished twice.
Right. One
Oh,
of them
like
being a
It's
hard
worth it.
read, light being more of like I think the light one was more reactionary, right? Like
yeah,
he
he jumped over stuff because, and I was scared to throw out forward air because he back aired me like 9 times already for forward
right,
airing. So I
right.
was like, I'm just gonna quick attack,
Yeah.
but he jumped and then dashed because Fox is super fast.
Yeah.
But like that's even not like a super common thing. Like, oh, like in that situation, like if I'm playing a Palu who's fast, I'm like, oh, you're gonna dash attack me, whatever. Like it doesn't matter. There's only a few characters other than like hard reads that like can actually deal with it in a good way. So
And you get an actual hard punish on there, like absolutely. And I mean, that's obviously one of the strengths of the move, just in general. Like, dude, let's talk about T-Jolt, man, because I feel like you always like are like so polished when it comes to that move, and I feel like people always have a. It's interesting hearing people's feedback. Some people think that I hear sometimes some people are like, oh, like I don't know if that move's all that good, but I feel like just like the coverage and stuff you get from that move, like the setups that you get from it, like it's such an essential piece, right? And kind of that approach option, just like the overall game plan you're gonna have for
yeah,
Pikachu. Like, just kind of, I
100%.
wanted to hear from you, man. Like, how do you feel like that really like builds everything? Like, builds your game plan and is the glue that holds things together.
I think that T-Jolt is at worst the second best projectile in the game behind like Samus Neutral B, because Charge Shot's also broken. But yeah,
We're not
T-Jolt does
counting
like
gun as a
everything.
projectile, right? Because it's
Huh?
technically not. We're not counting Joker gun as a projectile, right?
And
Even then,
we're
like
not.
Joker Gun's kind of not probably as good as T-Jolt. It's really
As a
good.
projectile, yeah, yeah. It's used. It's
Like
like
if you're
yeah,
talking like even as a projectile, like I think Pika's T-Jolt is better. Like more characters would do well with it.
right,
Because
right.
the thing is, like, I've been going over a lot of this in my lessons, which like the exact burst range of Pikachu's like instant dash back air that you have to just innately respect because it's a dumb move, right? Like back air itself is dumb as we all have seen. So like at that exact range, if I just go dash back Thunder Jolt and you aren't just like already jumping and trying to hit me like with a hard read, basically you'll have to shield the Thunder Jolt or deal with a Thunder Jolt right next to me, in which case I can just hit you for it. And if you shield it in like that exact spacing, it's +6, which means I can grab it. So it's like Game & Watch forward air without the entire like full hop double jump thing. Because they also have to respect the back air.
Right.
But yeah, T-Jolt's absolutely broken. Like it's a good camping tool. It's the best approach option in the game bar none, because I get to do literally whatever I want. And
Mhm.
like the thing is, you can tell how big of a deal it is because the three characters that are the best at dealing with it, which are Game and Watch, Ness, and Mario, are losing for two of them and even. And most people think that Mario's losing, but like the Pikas
Yeah.
are optimistic, right?
Right.
Right.
So like, but those would be like our three worst matchups. It's like, wow, who would have guessed that the characters that don't have to deal with our mix-ups are good against the character?
Right.
Uh,
Right.
It's
which
the
is so
backbone.
dumb.
Sounds like.
Yeah, 'cause it's so important because, in theory, like how like the theory, like so many people, if they're not like super top level or don't pay attention to me, like, and that's not trying to be ego, but just like whatever. Like my records against sword characters, they're like, yeah, Pikachu loses to swords because they just swat him out, and I'm like, how do you swat Pikachu out if he forces you to shield with Thunder Jolt? And they're like, oh, I didn't think about that. Like, you just get free approach options, and it doesn't matter how much range a person has. It doesn't matter uh, literally anything. Like, Pikachu even has mix-up still on parry.
Right.
Like, people
Yes,
parry my
that's
Thunder
messed
Jolt,
up.
and I just up smash. like, like most of the time. Because people also don't like parry shielding. Because, like, that's
Right.
not a common thing. Or I do, or it's like, oh, they parried it. I back aired them, and it shield poked them anyway. Or I get,
Yeah.
like, the, back air, fast fall mix-up, whatever. Um, because it's free. Because the thing is, if it wasn't for Thunder Jolt, Pikachu doesn't have range. He's fast, but
Yeah.
he doesn't have range, so he has to guess the like undershooting versus attacking where the opponent is versus overshooting. But Thunder Jolt says, "I will wait until you do something," and then you just get hit, or you have the mix up whenever they do something, whether they shield it or spot dodge it or roll through or jump, which is why if you watch my gameplay, I call out jumps like 85% of the time because I'm like, oh,
Because
you're
they
probably
have
going to
to.
jump here because you kind of have to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you
Right.
don't, you're shielding
Pinned down.
the
Yep.
Thunder Jolt. And so then like five characters can just be like, oh, up smash, but most characters either would have to time it super well or can't. And then I just falling there behind them and then it's safe because it's minus like 8 behind them and then they like roll away and up smash them or something.
Right.
Huge broken.
Yeah. No. I mean,
T-Jolt,
it's
T-Jolt does
crazy,
everything.
man. Yeah. T-Jolt is insane. I mean, I
And it's
also
an edge
just really.
guard.
Yep.
And it's an
Edge
edge
guarding
trap.
for sure.
And
Yep. The
it's a
ledge
get back to
trapping.
stage.
I was gonna
Uh huh.
mention that. You
Like it's
started
so
using it a lot more for ledge trapping, which is I think that in conjunction just goes really well because Pikachu is a character that you have to respect getting the late game. This is why I hold Pikachu so high on my tier list, and I usually don't budge. And
you have him
I
as like top two at least, right?
at least top two, at least
Yeah,
between Joker and Pika. And I've thought this for a very very long
I
time,
agree.
and it's because the consistent you get from quick attack, and then like on top of that, like having a dash attack grab mix up that kills at like 170 is so broken. And the thing
So dumb.
is, like
It
now
was already just like
Pikachu's
120.
yeah, and like ledge trapping, I feel like early meta Pikachu's weren't like ledge trapping that hard. It's not like a cookie cutter ledge trapper like Incineroar or something like that where you just like I have this broken tilt that
I'm gonna
forces you
spam down
off.
tilt.
Right, right,
Yeah.
like right.
Yeah,
So now Pikachu's are starting to use T jolts to like, oh, I can get chip damage kind of like Diddy Kong Peanut like
yeah,
but usually against certain characters like against Fox, do you care about chip damage? Like not really. Like once you're at 140 and you can die to bear, it's like I can take more damage and it doesn't matter because I
yeah,
actually want it more damage because I don't want to be in a tech chase, right, or something like that. But
yeah. So
Pikachu,
because narrow send you too far. Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Pikachu is a character where it's like I care about this damage. Like all this chip
Hmm.
I'm taking, I'm at 130, and he's like chipping me with T-Jolts to force me to do a ledge option. Like all of this stuff matters because once I hit that
Yeah,
170 mark, then every time Pika dashes at me, like I'm fighting for my life, right? Like
yeah, exactly. Especially
Yeah.
with the Thunder Jolt, because then it's just like, hey, guess now, which is so
Yeah.
dumb. No, I
You're
agree. I
forcing
mean,
us.
one of the things that I did over like the online era, because like I think I always like I didn't always ledge trap, but I can think of some of my best performances, like Gommel, right? Like I beat Cosmos for the first time because I just actually was like, I'm not going off stage. I'm just gonna edge trap you. When I played Dabuzz at Summit, I was like, I'm just gonna edge trap you because like obviously Pikachu's edge guarding is I think inarguably the best edge guarding in the game.
yeah,
So like it
Yeah.
makes sense why we want to
Ridiculous.
just be like, I'm just gonna kill you and just run off stage. But like
Yeah.
Pikachu's edge trapping is also broken because obviously I know you know this, like the two of you, but like obviously the biggest thing about edge trapping in terms of avoiding it is mixing up your timings. But if I have Thunder Jolt out, you have to do something.
Yep.
So then I just get to do like Chi Jolt forward air. And then if they roll, I grab and backthrow them and then do it again. Or like if they get up attacked, it's like, oh, my forward air went over the get up attack, down smash. Or, of course, for me, like I didn't really get them that much at Glitch, but like you know me, I love forward smash at the ledge. So it's like Chi
Yep.
Jolt, forward smash your neutral get up, you're dead at 60.
Right.
So like it's ridiculous. It's so good at just forcing people to do something. Whether they get away from me or not, they're just being like they don't have time to rest because it's like, oh, they hit me away. I'm gonna Thunder Jolt and run at them. Oh, I hit them away. I'm going to T-Jolt them off stage and potentially kill them with an edge guard. Oh, I can't edge guard them. I'm just going to T-Jolt and edge trap them. Oh, we're back in neutral. I'm going to run back in T-Jolt and then attack you.
yeah.
Like that move is broken, and that's why I'm like, this is better than Pichu's because I don't know if it's like actually better than Pichu's, but like the speed at which Pichu's like the bolt travels is faster, so you can't really run behind it as well. Whereas
Yeah,
Pikachu's you
yeah.
can.
You want it to be
Right.
slower.
Right.
Exactly. So like it's a little bit
Yeah.
slower, which is good.
Right. And I think the only other difference is like the hop is higher for Pikachu, so sometimes people can like low silhouette it, whereas
That's like
Pichu's
four
hop,
characters. It's fine.
right, but like
Yeah.
Pichu's hops are like smaller. Like
Yeah,
that's the only
exactly.
other difference I can think of,
And
and
like
then hurting
because
yourself.
Peaches is stronger, it can like tech chase and stuff. But
All right.
but
I
I'm
mean,
fine with
it's
getting T-Jolt landing there, so that's fine by
yeah,
me.
right. Yeah, exactly. And that's the kind of thing that's like so scary about the character right now because, like you said, like edge guarder in a game, right? Where edge guarding has just become more prolific as Ultimate moves forward. People are just
Hmm.
understanding certain nuances, recoveries. And it's like, but it's like even if you miss that, I mean, even if you get your corner carry and you don't finish it off, like you've been so good with getting like the upper like ladders and stuff as well. And
Hmm.
it's like even if it's like those things you like, oh, I made a mistake. Oh well, I guess I'll just deal with you on the ledge, dealing with T Jolt, and it's like
Exactly.
rinse and repeat. Like, and it's such it just transition the transitions you get like from the corner carries to the edge guard to the trapping to like all the way back, it's just like so strong. And again, all
Hmm.
that's kind of glued together by the T jolt, and so
Yeah.
it's so powerful, man.
Like the way I say it is just like Pikachu controls the momentum of almost every matchup he plays. Because if I want to camp, you have to approach me. If I want to be aggressive, you have to deal with it. If I want to play mid range, you have to deal with it. Like again, except for those three characters, which again, those are why it's hard. It's like, oh, I can't control
Yeah,
the momentum. I have to play your game. And
Right.
he's good at that because Pikachu's still broken. But like it's harder than just being like, oh, deal with me and whatever I want to do. Whether it's slow, fast, middle, whatever, which is so dumb. Especially because I have like, me in particular, I'm like really good at reads, I'm really good at conditioning. So it's like, oh, I'm missing the first couple times. Well, then the third time I hit you, and then the fourth time I hit you, and then the fifth
Yeah,
time I hit you, and then you go, oh God, he's just guessing right. I'm so scared because any hit can lead to a terrible position or death.
right.
One
I
thing
mean,
that
it def.
oh, go ahead, Ben.
No, you go ahead, right?
Oh, so one thing that I noticed too, in just like my general thought process, was I think a lot of people forgot, uh, pre-quarantine, that like how successful you were like right before quarantine hit. Like you were definitely on the come
Yeah.
up, and then
Mhm.
also on top of that, you're definitely one of the players that, in terms of like, oh, Esam meets up with Leo. Like Leo has this list of players where it's like the people that can beat me, and you're on the list, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
because I don't know what your lifetime record with him is. I think you're up on him, right?
4-2.
You're up.
It was 2-2, but the thing is, before it was I beat his Lucina
Oh, I
before his
see. I see.
Joker was super good at
Got
Gommel,
it. Got it.
and then he went Marth at Summit.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
But then both times I played as Joker, I had lost game five.
But it was, yeah, but it was game
Mm.
five,
But
because that
then
was
I
one
beat
of
the
them was at
Joker for the
Genesis,
first
right?
time. Huh?
One of them was at Genesis, correct?
It was Genesis and it was or not Gommel. It was Genesis and it was Shine.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Where I was down 0-2 at Shine and I brought it to game five, and then Genesis, I think he won game one, I won games two and three, and he won 4 and 5. But I should have beat him game four because I literally tried to do the same combo that I hit him with at the end of the tournament here, and then I would have won, but I messed up my up air. Anyway, that's why I was so happy I get that. I was just like, this was what was supposed to happen at Genesis 2 years ago,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Redemption arc.
And that's the labbing coming through, and I like, to my point as well. I think more explosive players like you and Light can do well versus Leo, because Leo and Tweak feel like they have this play style where it's like, okay, I'm very good at neutral and ledge trapping, so I'm gonna create a bunch of interactions, right? And then I'm gonna try to snowball off my ledge trapping being better than your ledge trapping. But they don't super go
Mhm.
crazy for edge guards. Like if they do go for edge guards, it's more like hedged edge guards, like Z drop, banana dare. Like this is like the more
Yeah.
Or
guaranteed
like you don't
stuff,
have a
right?
double jump, so you kind of have to be in this area.
Right,
Right.
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 They're not
Yeah.
like going super far out there, and I think that's why the Byleth was actually able to do, pretty well against Tweak. Obviously at Riptide he, did
Yeah,
extremely well, and
because
it like he
he's
couldn't
not
ledge
gonna get
trap
edge
him.
guarded.
Right,
Yeah,
and he
exactly,
and he
because of the
couldn't ledge trap him
stalling.
because of the
Mhm.
stalling, right? So it was like,
Mhm.
it was really interesting to see that. I
And then
like,
Leo just dealt with banana perfectly at some point.
right, and I
like
think
like
Tweak
it was so dumb.
Tweak will definitely have answers coming in next time, but
Of course.
it's like, here's the thing about Byleth, and I just like, I feel like people are, that recovery is very strong, don't get me wrong, but there are definitely characters that can shadow Byleth and punish Byleth, like
Mhm.
recovering. Like the
Yeah.
drop zone recoveries aren't that strong, and I just feel like a lot of people are over respecting the up B because they don't feel like the risk reward's there, because they don't have the experience, which I get that in tournament. Like you have to make that judgment call, like, oh, I'm not super experienced, I don't want to die at 50, right? So, take the ledge trap or whatnot. But you
Sounds like they
definitely
just gotta
seem,
play Elite Smash more because I've played so many Byleths on Elite Smash, and that's how I know
But
to
they're
edge
all over
guard.
now. Yep.
yeah.
They're
Yeah,
all
well,
over
even
now.
before, I mean, before that too, because
Yeah.
again,
True.
like that's one of the things that you know, when a new character comes out, I'm like, okay, how do I edge guard them? What is their like? What are their ranges that I'm threatened at? And I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, that one. So I'm just gonna like for literally Byleth, it's just like, okay, I'm gonna throw T-Jolt high so they can't double jump. Uh, or like sometimes my combo just sends super low because it's like the back air, up air, back air is like their like stage height, then start recovering. So I'm just go below and in front of them because if they hit me somehow, they have to die because they have to be like falling in air. Good
Right.
luck. Like if
Yeah.
they got
Definitely.
that to avoid an edge guard, like okay, you're playing super well. Like I don't know, I'll figure it out. I'll just unstrap you. It's fine. But it's really hard for Byleth to recover, and I feel like yeah, a lot of people don't know how to edge guard them because one of the things that happened in quarantine was that it's really hard to edge guard online because oh, you're off by those 4 frames you missed,
And you're dead.
Yeah.
which is one of the
Yep.
reasons I started edge trapping more just in general. Like I edge
Right.
trapped the hell out of everyone at like the Smash World Tour qualifier. I was just like, nope, I'm playing lame. I'm just edge trapping everyone. I'm not. It's not worth it to miss.
Yeah, no, and I respect that, man. And it's like it's great because now it's like you're able to use both like in your repertoire and just like with obviously amazing results, man. It's so good. Like yeah, like obviously like you were someone who always kind of really considers how characters like recoveries are and how you try to edge guard them. You've always been like I would say like you're like strongest or like definitely like top like strongest in terms of like edge guarding like in our like scene right now, right?
In
Like
Ultimate,
you're
I would say
always
I'm
someone.
definitely number one.
I
Yeah.
think Esam's uncontested number one. It's a combination of like your character and you as a
Pikachu's broken.
player, right?
Yeah,
So
because I
it's
mean
like
I've gone for edge guards for forever. Like I edge guarded people in Brawl. And like as melee, I love edge guarding with Samus. So yeah, it's just one of the things to me. I'm just like, well, why would I not want to get good at the situation where if I hit them or I guess right once, they're dead.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Especially Pikachu
Like that's
back air
broken.
setting up at 0%. Like you
Yeah,
essentially
now it's
snipe the
dumb.
jump.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it's so good. And
Absurd.
Yeah.
yeah, and you took
It's a
advantage
wrap.
of that super hard against Leo. I think
Hmm.
Leo's ledge stalling is something that threw a lot of people off, and you can't ledge stall if you don't get back to the ledge. So
And
Yeah.
even if he does, I have Thunder Jolt. Like the one edge guard I got on him on Lilat is like he tried to ledge stall and then I like but he had to do it at a specific time and I Thunder Jolted, so he had to avoid it, which means that I was able to get down there and mess with him and then get upper back air at like 35 and he died.
yep,
Yeah.
Uh, so the thing is like a lot of random little things that people are doing. Like people are like, oh my god, Steve's ledge trap or Steve's like offstage mining is broken. I'm like, yeah, except against me. And then people are like, oh my god, look at this Byleth stalling. I'm like, it won't work versus me, which is really funny because I think I said this in the Panel Winners interview, and I know I've said it on my stream, but like I was watching Summit and Riptide, and I was just like, see, like these things are good, and I know these players are super good, obviously, but like that wouldn't work against me. Like I will just beat whatever's happening. Like I was like, I'll beat the Pyramithras. Again, they're really good, and this is no disrespect, but I'm like, Spargo gets away with like 5 really bad Mithra up Bs like a game because
right.
no one know like no everyone's scared to edgeguard and I'll just hit it. Like I'll just go out there and
Yeah.
hit it. And I was just like the Byleth stuff and like Tweak is probably the top player that I'm like, oh, I don't know how to beat that right now because it's just neutral like over and
Mhm.
over again.
Right. Right.
But at the same time it's just like, well, if I just get the hit, I should kill him because Pikachu's broken and I have up air bridges and all that stuff. And I feel like the best thing about that isn't even that. Like, it's not even the technique. It's the fact that I, as a player, go, it doesn't matter how much I'm losing by. I can just win off of a hit. And
Yeah.
with me with confidence is broken.
Right, and it counters neutral-based playstyles. Like I'm
That's
not saying it's like a super duper hard counter, but when you're playing up against players like Leo and Tweak who set up a bunch of neutral interactions and hedge their bets with the ledge trap, that's where explosive players like yourself can be like, well, okay, you beat me in neutral 3 times, but like I hit you with back air at 0. Now what? Like
Exactly.
if I nail this edge guard, that's the stock, and everything before like didn't matter, right?
yeah.
And I'm getting better at neutral. Like I probably watching my glitch stuff back, maybe not against Light because Fox is super fast and hard to play neutral against, but like against Cola, I was playing pretty patient, and against
Yeah,
Leo, I was picking my spots. Like I wasn't
Were.
being the old Esam of like I'm gonna Thunderjolt and run into you every time. It's like I'm gonna Thunderjolt and dash forward. What happened? Okay, well I took a little bit of space. I'm gonna take a little more space. Oh, you backed up. Let me just try to overshoot. Like I consciously paid a lot more attention to overshooting because I happen to play Roy and Joker, and it's very good versus them because they are dash back characters.
yeah,
Yeah.
And like you can kind of categorize people as like dash forward, stay where they are, jump, or dash back characters, and definitely Joker, like Wolf, Wario, Byleth are all dash back characters. So I was just like, I'm just like literally, I mean, again, against Leo, it was go. I just ran across the entire stage and backed him in the corner, and then he died
yep.
because
Yeah.
like you're gonna dash backwards
We
because
get-
you have to respect the Pika. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. What are you gonna do, man?
And if I'm
Like,
wrong,
I mean-
I get nared. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pika out of
Maybe
shield too,
some
right?
damage.
I
yeah,
think
I
that's a
got it.
topic I want to hear your opinion on
Mhm.
because
Right.
Byleth, Leo definitely was Byleth naring everyone, and I don't know. It just feels like some of the characters that we've been seeing in the meta don't have the out of shield that Pika has, and I mean to be fair, I
Correct.
think Pika has like one of the best out of shields in the game.
He's like top 3,
Top
at
3
least, in
probably,
terms of
right?
out of shield options. It's like Game & Watch is 1.
Right.
And then like technically Mario is better because it's frame 3 up B, but also if he's wrong or like misspaces it, he dies or like gets hit. Whereas Pikachu is like, oh, I nared, I'm gonna drift away.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I speak about this a lot because everyone, like every time I make a tier list, I'm always like, yeah, man, like for example, Greninja. I'm like, Greninja's like has a lot of good things about him, but he doesn't have out of shield options. So when he's under pressure, he's just gonna crumble. And then the response, literally every single time, without fail, is out of shield options don't matter. They're not that. They're not actually a weakness. You can just move. And I'm like,
Yeah.
until you have to shield because you're scared because you're playing a person who's equal or better than you. In which case, then you have to shield. So
Right.
no.
Shield is frame 1. Shield is frame
Right.
1, and you don't like when you move, your character doesn't instantly teleport to your location frame 1. Like, you know what
Exactly.
I mean? There are a lot of
Yeah.
like
And there's
scramble
overshooting,
scenarios.
so there's like
Right, right.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
there's just a lot of
But
scramble scenarios where you're not like forced to shield, but shielding is very good in a lot of those scenarios. Like you see top players
yeah,
do it all the time, so you can't say like it
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
yeah, like people always
yeah,
talk about like, oh, like there's the example of like the like not to harp on Fudge, but like the Smash Ultimate is bad, and he made an example of like it looks like two people ramming their heads together because it's like I'm gonna aerial your shield with like Joker and then shield and then Palu jumps and then back airs Joker shield and then Joker tries to jump and then back air later because he doesn't have good rising aerials. And I'm like, yeah, that happens when you don't have good out of shield options, which is one of the reasons why me and Meister are seeing a lot of successes because people got comfortable using their -7 aerials on people's shield or -9 aerials as cross ups because they're like, oh, it's safe from shield grab and you don't have other out of shield options. And me and Meister are like, yes, we
you
do.
do.
And we kill
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
Like it's so I feel like it's such an underrated thing, and it's one of the reasons I'm like Game and Watch's top six or seven because I'm like yeah he loses some matchups, but he's a character that has really good defense and then really strong advantage state, and you can't edge guard him or edge
Yeah,
trap him basically. Like you have to just straight up guess. Because
yeah,
like his ledge jump is broken, his neutral getup's broken. He has ledge hop nair, which just beats every aerial attempt as an edge trap. Um, and same thing with Pika. I'm just like, oh, you want to be aggressive on me? Cool. 4 frame back air. So frame 7 out of shield option, frame 6 grab, or frame 6 nair. Uh, then if you have to respect those, that means that basically every time you hit my shield and you're doing it with a safe move like back air for like, a -5, let's say, right?
Right.
It's like, okay, cool, you -5 to my shield. But you have to hold shield because I have aerials. Grab. It's
right.
not guaranteed punish, but they literally have to guess. And Pikachu gets so much off of a grab, so then it's the choice for them, which is not good
Yeah.
for them because if I'm right, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Leans in
You
your
know,
favor for sure, man.
like
And
edge
that's
options
like
are so important, and that's one of the reasons why the Zero Suit nerfs actually did matter a lot because -5s, which are very common surprisingly in the meta, like I think it's like Palu forward air is now -5, Palu back air is -5, or it's like -4. There's a lot of -5 aerials, like Game & Watch's Nair and stuff, and then she can't punish them anymore, which is one of the reasons why I now think the Zero Suit Game & Watch matchup is even, because she literally lost her guaranteed punish with up B on Nair,
That was a big
so
deal.
now it's a guess,
mhm.
which sucks.
Yeah. People don't talk about it enough, man. How strong Out of Shield is in this game. Like if you have it, like oh man, it just does so much because it's that essential piece, right, to the quote unquote, like the traditional like rock paper scissors. You know,
Mhm.
when you're able to actually shield and make things happen. And like yeah, Pikachu has that in spades, and you're able to
Yeah.
use that. And just like again, such a strong tool for the character. The character, like you said, really is able to dictate the pace. Right, the character's going to be turtling. You have to chase the character, but if you chase the character and they use that frame one option, that by the way leads into a ton of damaging options, right? And potential
Mhm.
corner carries that leads into this and leads into that. It just keeps on going.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, Esam, like just kind of obviously, being best Pikachu by a significant margin. Where do you see Pikachu's meta going next, right? In terms of like optimization for the character, like we know
Oh.
obviously, you've been doing a lot of things with like people have been talking about up air ladders for a while, and then you're just seeing more and more
Mhm.
of those becoming common. Man,
I
I
missed
love
like
the
all
one
of
that
them
you
in
got.
singles. I was so sad.
I know, but you got
I had
that.
so many opportunities. I got close, but I didn't hit
Yeah,
them.
you got that drag down up air on that platform to
Oh, with Puppet.
platform drop up air. Yeah, I was like, oh,
It was basically raindrop for
It
yeah,
was pretty much a raindrop.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Damn, that's a good way to put it.
literally. I
Yeah,
saw Boy do that, and I was like, oh, I should have time to do my version of that. And then Upper Bridges happened, and I was like, oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like that's
yeah, that shit was ridiculous. That's all I was like, oh, yes, my man's
yeah, no,
ready to
broken.
play. Yeah,
So obviously it's like get better at upper bridges and stuff, and then as counterplay of like SDI comes into play, learn the counterplay to it because like certain characters can probably get out with certain SDIs at certain percent windows, but also I'm gonna be the one to know that, not the opponent, unless they
right,
have me experience, which no one does right now because I live at home and I don't travel a lot. Um,
Right.
like I literally haven't I didn't play offline with a top player since I played Goblin at my first local back after the pandemic in like June. And then it was like glitch. So like people don't have the experience. So even though it's like, oh, this one character should SDI up because they're a little floatier. It's like, okay, well even if you do, I still have combo extensions and different ways to deal with it, which I've been labbing out just in case people start SDIing. But I think a big thing for Pika in terms of like optimization, the two next things. I don't know, like it's hard to say how much more there is, obviously, because a lot of it is also conditioning. Like I will kill people for DIing out, and then they DI in, and then I down throw upper thunder them, right? Because
Right.
that works on DI in. It's really dumb.
Yeah.
But the two things that I'm trying to work on, but it's super hard to do it consciously, is Pikachu has a non-two frameable, like you know how characters have non-two frameable angles, and Pikachu can do
Yeah.
that from below. But I'm trying, if I like learn the spot exactly where that works, then like I can do my first zip to that spot and then do the second zip and always grab the ledge with no two frame, which means that matchups like Bowser, like Sonic, like everyone that's like, oh, I might just get the two frame and win. Those matchups are going to be way harder for them because they're just not going to get those opportunities, which that seems terrifying because that's like the only way you can hit Pikachu off stage is by two framing him.
And get the KO,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, I'm gonna try to hit
Yep.
Yeah,
Pico with Rage at like 80 with Bowser. This is my one
F
shot.
tilt.
Right, this is
Yeah,
my
Right.
one
Right.
shot at like getting the
Yeah.
like, because that's where Pikachu can like crumble. I feel like it's like, okay,
just like
you know, you're just light, right? You're very hard to hit, like, but there are certain scenarios where it's like, well, yeah, you're hard to hit, but like I want neutral and I get my two frame shot, right? But if you
yeah,
can start
exactly.
mitigating that, you'll
Yeah.
drastically change matchups to the point where it's like now they got to fish hard for the KO.
Exactly. Like they
Yeah.
have to run off stage. They have to do something on stage, read a quick attack, which again is super difficult. And then the
Right.
second thing that I'm trying to do is so like you know how I can do like dashing, jump, thunder, and like I'm kind of still drifting a direction, but I'm technically still going to hit myself
Right.
with thunder. So I can basically do that off stage where if I jump at like the most slight down forward angle that like barely would make you crawl, I can like jump and like move a little bit and still hit myself with the thunder, like it will connect with my body. So in a lot of situations where like I'm getting thunders that are stage spiking people and then they have an opportunity to tech, it won't anymore because I'll just jump away from the blast zone and then they'll always be on the outside of me,
Right.
either getting by the body hitbox or if they DI away from the thunder, they'll just get spiked and die and miss me entirely. But also that's really, really hard to learn because one, I have to fish for it super hard, and two, if I'm wrong, I die. So a lot of time for me right now, I'm like, it's not worth it because I'd rather just, hope they miss the tech or still just take the 30, you
Right.
know. But I think those are the two, and like obviously like get better at bridges and like the
Yeah.
setups for it and stuff. But I think those are the main things. But it's a lot of like neutral. Like I think the reason I won glitch was because my neutral was just way better than it normally is, and my punish game was like standard. Like I would say I got if you watch me then and then me at like the other glitch that I won or like any tournament I did decent like Genesis, my punish game was about the same. Like I was
Right.
getting good nair loops and dash attacks and jump callouts and all that type of stuff. But like there wasn't anything like super crazy for the most part against like the like Leo, Light, etc.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
oh, I got a jump read with Thunder. Cool. That you die at 70, which is great.
Got
But
him.
it
Yeah.
like it wasn't any of my new stuff except for the last stock against Leo.
Right.
So like it's a lot of just like, oh, learn the matchups to overshoot, really just condition like it's gonna be a lot of like neutral conditioning
Right.
because if we do get the one hit, it can just kill.
Yeah, and you're gonna use that to condition your opponent.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
So I think the last like two things that I at least want to ask you is
I talk a lot, sorry for the long video.
no, this is great. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously we
I love
want
it.
to hear
Yeah.
your opinion. There's no other Pikachu's out there doing it like you are. So obviously, like
That's a shiny mark, you're actually really good.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Shiny Mark is
Sick.
he is the other
Shout out to
Pikachu
Shiny
that I
Mark.
see kind of like getting there with the optimization of up airs, right?
Mhm.
It's a really tough thing to do. So he's definitely been doing it
Yeah.
really well. Obviously, he's still growing as a player, needs that experience and all that. But yeah, he's been doing
Yeah,
well.
he's really good.
But so apparently someone DM'd me on Twitter and told me that Japan does not think highly of Pikachu. And the reason why
Yeah.
they don't think highly of Pikachu is because they feel like everyone's not SDIing correctly right now. But I don't even think like the way I think of Pikachu, it's not even if Pika doesn't do 80 off of like one hit, which is obviously insane, but like even if you cut that
Hmm.
down because of SDI to like maybe 60 or 50, to me the stronger part about Pikachu is quick attack, the consistency, like Pikachu being able to stretch so far for an edge guard and maybe even like
Yep.
flip jump or quick attack, like those kind of
Yeah.
moves back on the
The
stage.
burst movement option, yeah.
Right,
Yep.
to get back
Yeah.
on the stage at the same time or even like maybe in time for a ledge trap because they didn't get the down or they didn't get the double jump read or something like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yep.
So like and then on top of that, them in disadvantage is not anything too crazy like it's pretty hard to punish that, and then on top of that their advantage state being so crazy, chip damage mattering, the dash attack up
Yeah.
throw like thing late game, like all these things are just like so strong. Pikachu's getting way stronger at abusing T-jolts in all those scenarios, right?
Mhm.
And the out of shield, it just feels like a whole complete package deal to me that
Yeah.
even if players start getting better at SDI, and we even saw you optimize it. One thing I really appreciate, it's like you can be a lab rat and you can optimize everything. But also taking the human side to it, where it's just like, okay, I know how to convert on out and in because, like, as a Pikachu main, like, people do not want to be in X scenario, right? So it's like, how do
Hmm.
you, and like Void does this really well too, where it's like,
Yeah.
how do I
Me
punish?
and Void are very similar players,
Right, right,
I
because you
think.
guys like play characters that can go super hard off stage, right? So it's like knowing to understand the fear of NDI and being like, how can I optimally punish that? Because even when you close out against Leo, you triple up aired him. He DI'd in on I think all of them, and or
And
at
the
least the
backer.
last one, and the back air because he got gimped from you so many
Yeah,
times. You killed him
before.
sub
Yep.
Yeah,
50,
exactly.
and you hit him at
Yep.
Like
zero
it's
back
reasonable that
air.
he was scared.
Right, but like you know how to also kill off of that. So that's something
Yeah.
that like even with SDI and all that other stuff, I think those situations are more important than like, oh, you can SDI and take 20 less damage or something like that, right?
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
right.
I think a big thing about that perception is one, they're wrong about the SDI. I mean, certain things you can SDI probably a little better, but like Pikachu can catch SDI out because that's why I do the instant reverse, like the backwards attack cancel thing. Like I'm always getting dash back airs, like every time I do it. And if they SDI in, I'm just gonna back air and standing back air and just drag them off stage. Also, there's counterplay for most Nair loop situations. There's certain characters, like very thin characters, like Joker and Zero Suit, where Nair loops are a little harder because since they're so thin, if I just guess the direction wrong of like forward or back and they're SDIing that way, they can drop out. But like that's not most characters. Also, if they SDI up, you can just fast fall later and still get the hit. Like people, basically everyone SDIs up my Nair loops at this point because that's correct probably. And I still hit them because I'm just doing a different timing. And sure, I can't get up tilt. Oh no, I only have to get grab, down throw, nair. Oh no, it sucks.
Yeah.
But like also, with all due respect to the Japanese Pikachu's, they don't play the character right. I know Abadongo's picking them up, and I'm actually very excited. But like when I watched Abadongo play Ken, like if you had to classify like the number one move for Pikachu against Sonic, what is it?
T-Jolt?
Yeah.
What did he not
Oh,
do? T-Jolt.
not
So
too
people
bad.
are like people like yeah,
The god tier game.
if you're playing neutral without T-Jolt, yeah, the character sucks. Like guaranteed, for sure. Like I understand if T specifically thinks that because Pac-Man's also another character that can kind of deal with T-Jolt because he just hydrants and ignores it.
Right, he blocks it
Um,
off.
yeah, but like that's again, those are very specific matchups and nowhere near relevant. Whereas Pikachu beats every relevant character otherwise. Like Pikachu beats Wario, beats Pyramithra, beats Joker, beats Palu, beats fucking Fox, beats Wolf.
Very good top
I don't know.
tier spread.
I don't know why the Wolves
Yeah.
pretend that that matchup's even now. I don't know what happened. Everyone's like, it's like I have a super winning record on all the Wolves, and they're like, it's even, and I'm like, listen, I understand your confidence and the fact that you think I'm better than you, and I appreciate that, but like, come on,
The
like it's
character
a bad matchup.
like sometimes you gotta respect being optimistic about your character, right? Like you said, the
Yeah.
Pikachu's think that Mario's even, right? Like, I mean, we don't like super know that, but that's like those are
Hmm.
scenarios where it's like, oh well, if I'm being optimistic like this, right, or
Yeah.
whatnot. But yeah, I mean,
Um, but I think that's definitely one of the things about Japanese Pikachu's, because like even playing like Kishiru came to whatchamacallit, the glitch that Tweak won, the recent one before mine, where I got third, and Tweak won, Wizzy got second.
right.
And like he did a lot of things well, but the thing is, a lot of the like I feel like Tweak is a good example of kind of how Japanese players play because it's definitely different. They play super safely and they
Conservative.
want to get their small hits and get out.
Yep.
Whereas Pikachu is a character that's cool. I got my hit. How much can I take? Like how much can I get? I can
I want that
overextend and
stock.
miss.
Give me
And
the
I can
stock.
overextend and miss because I'm fine because quick attack
Right.
exists. Like again, unless they're always hitting the two frame and always doing these things, in which case like they're just better than you and you're gonna lose, which is fine. Like the thing is, I never get scared of those situations because it's just like, well, if they do the thing that they have to do to win, then they're playing well. I'm not really gonna be scared of that because like literally, if I were to get forward smashed by a Sonic and lose a set because of it, I'd just be like, they got it,
Yep.
nice, like
Yep.
GG's. Uh, like I'm not like, oh my god, I'm so scared of getting hit, and I feel like being scared of getting hit is what leaves a lot of damage on the table, and it's why players like Mars, myself, Cola, Void, can like just burst onto people and just kill or get a ton of damage on people because they're so scared of you know committing or getting those hits, or they're used to people being scared and not committing, and then we're just like, hi, like what's up, fight.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yep.
and then we can also just run backwards and use our projectiles or Zero Suit can camp and blah blah blah. But like that's I feel like a really big deal because literally I was watching like I remember watching Kishidu at that event and he was just like leaving so much on the table. Like he would get his couple hits, but then like he would miss the nair loop and then or like hit them away by accident because like he got the final hit in nair because he messed up his fast fall and then he would just like dash backwards and I'm like they're still above you. They're still in disadvantage. Go fight. Like you're
Right.
literally still winning. And he would just like
Yeah.
run backwards and then reset neutral. And granted, Pikachu's neutral is really good, but no one spams T-Jolt like I do, which also stunted me as a player for a little bit. But it's fine, it's worth it because now I'm not stunted like that because now I know how to move and also use T-Jolt, which is broken.
Right. And like
Like I
you've
remember
said
back
it
in the
so much
beginning of the game,
times.
people were like, "Esam, you're using T-Jolt too much," and then I was like, "Okay, make me not T-Jolt," and then I won't T-Jolt, and then Meister started doing it, and then I was like, "Oh fuck, that sucks." But like that was it. Like everyone else, I could just T-Jolt all the time because it's broken.
Yeah, it moves ridiculous. Man, like Sam, I mean, on my end, I pretty much. I don't know if you have anything else, Charles.
No, yeah, that was it.
Yeah, but I mean, like Esam, thank you so much for joining us, bro. Like, it's good to talk to you. Good to see you
Yeah.
in a good health. You know, especially with everything going on. And again, congratulations on Glitch, man. Well deserved. You've always
Appreciate
been
it.
a very strong player and a very strong labber. And so, for analysts like me and Charles and all the people out there, like we always love to see you do your thing, man, and like, kind of
Thank
really
you.
break down the character and really, build down the game to a science, right?
I
So
hope it's the first of many,
yes,
Yeah.
or
man,
the second of
keep it
many,
up,
I
man.
guess.
Yeah, I mean, anytime I see you get dubs, I just think to myself, like, the meta is going to shift, right? Because, in my
Mhm.
opinion, like, you're one of the people who labs the game out. You're one of those people who's really an advocate of optimization and really just, like, just taking every hit as far as you can go, taking end
Mhm.
guards as far as you can go, all those things. And I think those things are so important, ultimate. And we still see people kind of like
Hesitate.
kind of leaning back sometimes. Yeah, they're hesitating. Sometimes they're just
Yeah.
leaning too much on the neutral and stuff. It's like, no, some stocks can get deleted, and you're about deleting those stocks. So,
Hmm.
again,
There's one
man,
more thing
first
that I
time.
want to
Go
say,
ahead.
if I can.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
go
Oh,
for it.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah,
This
for
is
sure.
this is this is advice for people watching. I say this in my lessons a couple times. Like I don't put those online, so it's hard
Right,
to
makes
like
sense.
you can't find it. But like if you are playing the game, make sure you do not hesitate. It is better to make a decision and be wrong than to have potentially made the right decision but waited. Because you can learn from making the wrong decision, but you can't learn from, oh, I had that and I didn't do it. Which is why you will sometimes see me dash attack 10 times into shield and lose. But then if I dash attack the 11th time and it works, yeah, it doesn't matter. Or like I get the grab mix-ups or I condition people. So it is fine. It's 100% fine to be wrong. No one's going to be right all the time. Minimizing your risk is obviously super good. But if you want to make a decision, make the decision. And if it's wrong, think about why it's wrong. Don't, say like, oh, that's a terrible option because the worst well, except for like very, 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 very bad options. Like for the most part, like the worst option a lot of characters have is still a good option, right? Like, you know, I should never be down airing in disadvantage because I have quick attack and I have thunder jolt and I have fast fall air dodge and I can go off stage and I can grab the ledge and I can do all those things. But why would I do that when I can sometimes just down air and need to respect the space, you know?
Right.
Because that way, then they're even scared of another layer of like, I don't even know what they're gonna do. He's not even doing the right things.
Right.
So just believe in your options, and if they're wrong, then figure it out, and then that'll do you more than, you know, I was right, but I was scared. Like, don't be scared. Just do it. If you lose, it's fine. You lost. Oh no. Especially if you're not one of the people top aiding consistently, which probably aren't taking my advice. Um, it doesn't matter. Like you're just playing to get better. So you
Right,
should
play to learn.
make the mistakes to get better.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Play to learn is always a really good strategy. I mean, there's
and
there's
do it in
different
tournament too.
scenarios. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you
Yeah.
get
You
the
miss
tournament
100% of
experience.
the shots, bro. You
Yep.
miss 100% of the
Exactly.
shots you don't make, right?
Exactly.
The classic. Yeah, man. So again, thank you so much, Esam, for joining us. We appreciate you, guys.
Subscribe
If
to
you
the
guys
channel.
love the subscribe to the channel. Like, follow, and subscribe. Click that icon. And of course, I mean, if you guys are on here, you probably already subscribed to the boy. But if you're not, of course, go ahead and check out Esam. He does great content. He's just a talented individual. Person, man, doing his thing.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Have a
Peace
good
out,
one.
everyone.
Peace.